Most people think Dune and The Lord of the Rings belong on the same shelf, epic, mythic, richly woven worlds where heroes rise and civilizations tremble. But beneath the surface, these two stories are moral opposites. One tells you to renounce power. The other says, take it, but pay the price. And if Tolkien had read Dune, he would have been horrified. Let's explore why. Power corrupts, always, Tolkien's moral core. In Tolkien's Middle-earth, power is not a tool. It's a trap. The One Ring doesn't just corrupt bad men. It corrupts everyone. Even Gandalf, the wise. Galadriel, the noble. Boromir, the brave. Tolkien's point is simple. No one is immune. The ring doesn't whisper temptation because you're weak, it whispers because you think you're strong enough to resist. In Middle-earth, the true heroes are those who say, no. The Ring and the Fall. A Christian vision. Tolkien was a devout Catholic, and his world reflects a Christian moral framework. The ring is not just a weapon, it's the original temptation, the apple in Eden, the lie that says, you shall be as gods. Power, in Tolkien's world, is not neutral. It is inherently dangerous. Melkor falls trying to shape the world. Sauron falls trying to bring order. Even Saruman falls trying to do good better. For Tolkien, that's how evil begins, not with hatred, but with control. Dune's universe, power as destiny. Frank Herbert saw power differently. His hero, Paul Atreides, doesn't reject power. He seizes it. He becomes the God Emperor. Paul knows his rise will trigger a holy war across the stars, and he still walks into it. Unlike Tolkien, Herbert doesn't believe in the purity of refusal. He believes in navigating power, surviving it, steering it, if you're strong enough. It's a darker, more cynical world. Tragedy versus temptation, two paths to doom. To Herbert, Paul's rise is a tragedy, not a triumph. He sees the horror of it, the death, the fanaticism, the loss of innocence. But it still happens. And in some sense, it's still necessary. That's a key difference. In Tolkien's world, evil is never necessary. It's always a choice, and always the wrong one. Herbert says, this is the cost of empire. Tolkien says, there is no just empire built on domination. Heroism redefined. Sam versus Paul. Let's talk heroes. Paul Atreides is brilliant, strategic, messianic. He commands armies and bends religion to his will. He's compelling. But is he good? Tolkien would say no. In The Lord of the Rings, the true hero is Samwise Gamgee. He doesn't seek power. He doesn't want glory. He carries Frodo, not to win a war, but because he loves him. Sam doesn't conquer. He endures. That, for Tolkien, is what real heroism looks like. The danger of necessary evil. In Dune, Paul accepts evil as a necessary cost. He knows billions will die, but he believes he can channel the bloodshed into something better. This is what Tolkien rejects completely. There is no such thing as righteous conquest. No such thing as redeeming evil. Frodo's real victory is not destroying the ring, it's showing mercy to Gollum. That mercy is what ultimately saves the world. For Tolkien, restraint is the highest virtue. The mythic versus the political. There's another divide, tone. Tolkien writes myth. He's reaching for something timeless, spiritual, sacred. Herbert writes political sci-fi. His world is steeped in realpolitik, ecology, economics, prophecy. Tolkien's world says, be humble, be kind, be faithful. Herbert's world says, be smart, be strong, be visionary, or be crushed. They both tell epics, but one is a moral fable. The other is a warning. Letting go versus holding on. In The Lord of the Rings, the final challenge is not to win, but to let go. To destroy the ring. To return to the Shire. To embrace a quiet life. That's the reward. In Dune, the challenge is to bear the weight of power, to suffer under the burden of empire and vision. Paul doesn't get peace. He gets prophecy and loneliness. Tolkien offers closure. Herbert offers consequence. Two worldviews, one moral divide. In the end, The Lord of the Rings and Dune are more than stories. They are rival philosophies. Tolkien says, "Reject power. Love mercy. The smallest heart can save the world." Herbert says, "Power is inevitable. The best you can do is shape its course." One story is a gospel of humility. The other is a tragedy of destiny. Both are masterpieces. But Tolkien would have looked at Paul Atreides and said, "That's just another Sauron, with a human face." Outro call to action. If this clash of moral worlds fascinated you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more deep dives into literature, philosophy, and history. Tell us in the comments, would you follow Frodo or Paul? And remember, sometimes the real strength is walking away.